The time is just gone 8:42 a.m. as we focus on politics of a different kind, moving away from the reaction to the opening address of the President Cyril Ramaphosa of the Government of National Unity. Now, having been exposed myself for a somewhat of a short journey in the political arena, it is important and it is necessary to critically analyze the steep decline in political participation, particularly amongst the youth, where we've seen levels of interest and participation that have been on a downward spiral right across the entire board, considering that we had 27 million registered voters and there could have been a lot more than the 27 million, and also the number of people that came out and vote. And the key issue here is, why is there a lack of interest in political participation among the youth? And this is the reason why we are talking with Tafir Mustafa, 20 years old, founder of SoWeVote, inspiring and mobilizing young South Africans by promoting civic education, leveraging social media to increase youth participation in the political process. And this is something that we need to consider as a society very, very seriously going into the future, because at the end of the day, it is about social re-engineering. It's going back to basics as well. But again, we need to collaborate. There are a number of organizations right across the entire country. But the thing is, what future do some of these young people have? What hope do these young people have in the political establishment and association in politics as well? And that's why we're going across to Cape Town to be joined by Tafir, who is a dynamic and innovative leader from Cape Town. He's being honored as a News 24 Young Mandela in the Deepening Democracy category. Tafir, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We congratulate you on this honor that you've received at News 24.
Wa alaikum salam. Thanks so much. It's really because of the cause and the people that I do it for that I think that I've received that honor. And I think, if anything, I'm going to continue to work for them because of it.
Okay, let's talk about SoWeVote. And obviously, you've made significant contributions to the political landscape through the founding of SoWeVote. Tell us more.
Well, maybe significant contribution is a little bit of flattery, I don't know, but I'd like to think that we've had a far-reaching impact. Over the past year, we've grown significantly, and I think in due part because we're able to reach people where they are. In the political climate that we find ourselves in, we're really looking for something new, and I think that a lot of young people haven't been actualized in the way that they start thinking about politics in relation to themselves. And I think that where SoWeVote comes in is that we don't castigate people. We don't tell them that, they're bad for not having researched it on their own or for not believing in structures like democracy or government anymore. Instead, we try and build from a place of positivity and move from there, where we say, we acknowledge why you're feeling like that. And, through constructive dialogue, through open language, through plain language, even through humor, we've been able to reach a lot of young people and help build with them.
Tafir, to a large extent, and this is my experience, and having covered the political landscape for a long time, we have this general feeling of apathy among the youth, largely because they feel that they are disconnected from the political landscape. Is that the case?
I think it can be. I mean, we look at high school, for example, where, you're in your formative years, you're busy building on your education about not just politics, but who you are. And I mean, one can make the argument to say that politics is who you are, and that the more you grow, the more you develop, your politics will develop as well. So, I mean, in that regard, the fact that there isn't the kind of political education that we receive in school, or even a civic education to begin with, I think that there already the foundation is lacking. Beyond that, once people turn 18, there's this expectation that suddenly we now, the young people, have to rescue this country, and that it's our fault if we're not showing up. But we've never been given the tools. We've never been told as well that politics is much bigger than just the government. It's something that yes, the government does stuff, but it affects you in real life. It's going to continue to touch on your life, and so you've got to continuously be developing upon that. Um, Not to mention the fact that party politics often doesn't come to meet young people. We've often got to go to them and try and seek out answers and do research and things like that. Whereas you know it's difficult for new voters and for even old voters, I think, to get involved when the conditions just aren't ideal for you to have access to even the knowledge of what's going on.
Yes. Also, Topir, from what I've just observed, you've got a keen interest in politics, and also, at this young age, using your skills or leveraging your skills as a freelance media consultant for progressive political candidates. Now, this obviously, from a young age, tells me that you've got a huge interest in politics, and also at the same time, what you are looking for is a future for young people to be a lot more involved, to be a lot more robust when it comes to the political discussions that are taking place, and more importantly, to be more engaging in civic society and in politics in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't make a secret of it yet, so we vote to say that we need a completely new political culture as it is. I mean, the way that we approach politics in this country, the way we speak about it, the way that we ourselves think of it, it needs to change from top to bottom. From the statements that politicians put out that are often long-winded and uses a lot of big words and jargon and things like that. It's not accessible to the audiences that they're trying to theoretically reach, which is everyday people. It's as well as saying no to youth tokenism. We often see parties, when we criticize the fact that they haven't engaged with young people, they come back and they tell us, oh, but we've made the youngest chairperson in XYZ committee, or we've appointed our first youth MPs and things like that. But often they're just there as faces. Unless you're going to have meaningful discussion where you get young people to the table to actually have a concrete, meaningful input, we're not really going to get anywhere. And so, from the way that we see politics to the way that politicians see themselves, we want people to understand that they deserve better. And I think that often it hasn't come to people as a realization that they, do in fact deserve better, that what we have now isn't the be all end all. And that, when we come together, when we have the numbers, when we have the time, like young people do as a majority of the population in this country, when we can do that, when we can stand together, even if we don't believe in the same political, ideology, we can come together and still make something that works for all of us and that's better systematically.
Topir, here's a question for you, young people. Do they feel that the political establishment has actually failed young people?
That's a tough one. The thing is, I'd say a lot of them may think that. I think a lot of them are feeling that. I certainly feel that from time to time because, systematically, like I've said before, it's something that's so ingrained in our culture, the way that we address politics, the way that we interact with it, that it becomes difficult sometimes to see the end um, of the road where it's like, at what stage does this become better? At what stage can change actually be made when you have so many restrictions? And it's hard to hold on for hope in a culture where politicians can seem so removed from everyday life. I mean, yesterday we saw the opening of Parliament, and my team and I were discussing how to best put it when we were saying that you drive through Cape Town and you see that they make way in the roads for the parliamentarians to come through. They roll out a red carpet. People come dressed as if it was some award show across the road from where homeless people are, sleeping in tents, if not, just under the sky. And, to then walk in there, it shows that politicians see their job in a certain kind of way, in a way that, speaks to like limelight and fame and celebrity, whereas in reality, they're supposed to be public servants. And I think that once we start treating them like that, and once we can get them to see themselves like that, perhaps then we could then have a system of government, a system that is open, that is accessible, that looks like South Africa, that includes South Africa, and that builds forward for South Africa.
Yes. Now, as a young person, obviously, you have been recognized for your dynamic leadership, for your innovative approach, and particularly in reaching out to young people. Just looking at possibly even short to medium term, what are you hoping to achieve, Tofir?
Well, we want to make SoWeVote into a household name. We want a lot of young people from the age of 16 and upwards, maybe even younger, to start getting involved in thinking about politics. And the way that we want to do that is to help them start thinking about themselves. I mentioned earlier that politics is really personal and it's something that we really believe in. So, I mean, we want people to learn about politics through learning about themselves, learning about what values they hold dear, um, what it is that they would like to see in the South Africa coming forward, and then, enable them with the education, with the tools to know where to direct that passion that hopefully will arise. Because we're not just looking to get registered voters through our organization, we're looking to make active citizens. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to keep building with humorous content. We're going to keep building in a way that the language is plain and simple, without the jargon, without cutting people out. And hopefully, as we expand, we'll be able to do that better. And in terms of accessibility, just getting as many people in there and getting involved in the system, so that when they turn up for the next election, they're not going in there blindly or having done half-sided research, but we would have given them the tools to assess the situations that are going on.
Well, Tofir, we certainly will follow developments. We will follow progress as well. We will follow you. We will follow SoWeVote from time to time as well. But once again, we thank you. We appreciate you taking time out, Shukran, for that, for coming on, talking to us. And once again, we congratulate you on this honor of News 24's Young Mandela in the Deepening Democracy category. So all the best to you.
Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Tawfir Mustafa was us this morning, and really very, very encouraging, a very high note actually to start off this morning's broadcast right here on Salam Media. And it's just wonderful to see young people making so much progress, but also the vision coming from a young 20-year-old Tawfir Mustafa. We will definitely will follow his progress with interest. Next up, we've got Mufti Hamza Faruqi from the Fatwa Department of Jamiatul Ulama KwaZulu-Natal, our Jummah Nasiha coming up.